we are here before the Modest Yahoo Dirty Heads show at the House of Blues in Orlando, and I am here with Jared again. So it's good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
What has been the most memorable moment on this tour for you guys?
A couple of the guys did mushrooms on a day off, and I got to talk to them really late at night for like 3 hours about the universe. But I was sober, and that was pretty memorable. But there was this stretch of shows. I think it was like Detroit, Chicago, and one other show, and all three shows back to back to back were like, sold out or huge, way bigger venues than we usually play, and it was packed. And I just remember those three shows going back to back to back, going, there's no way tomorrow night could be any better. And it was just, it was every single night was bonkers. So, and that kind of goes for this whole tour. Like, the whole tour has been, personally, I think the best tour that we've been on to date.
Wow.
Hands down.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I mean, just with like the new album and then Modest's new album, and we get to play new music, and we got to finally team up with Modest and do an actual tour rather than doing little dates. And I think the energy between both bands, and we're close friends with their crew, they're close friends with us. It's very easy to get along. Everything's been just smooth and fun, and everybody's cool, and it's just been going really well.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, you mentioned Modest Yahoo and everything, and you've got the Dance All Night song that's on the new album. How has the live response been when you play that on this tour? I mean, what's it like? What are we going to expect from tonight?
It just elevates the show to me. Like, if Modest comes out, because some nights he can't come out, and it's a little like, I think it's a little off-putting, like, to fans, because they know that we're on tour and this, and then say he's doing something and he can't make it. It's like, oh. So when he finally does come out and make it, it just elevates the show, and it's the way that the album is. And the tour came from that song, and it's just fun to have our friend out on stage, and he's like a way better dancer than I am. So it's like I have to feel like I have to step on my dance game, and it kills me every night.
He's serving you?
He serves me a big old plate of fuck off, I'm better dancing than you. And then I eat it with a tiny little baby spoon.
It's the next video, too, for you guys.
Yeah.
And I saw, like, some of the stuff that you guys have already started shooting and everything. When is that going to be coming out? Any rough estimate as far as date goes?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
I would say 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most.
Yeah. Do you have a little more is it just editing now? Is that kind of where it is? Or
I just got to see some still shots of what they're editing, and it's really cool. We got this camera by this company, Red, and it's like the best cameras that you can possibly use, and we have all this dope slow-mo stuff, and it's just going to be a really vibey, really fun video, so we're excited.
Kevin by the Sea definitely is, for me, the perfect summer soundtrack, and I think you guys, nailed it. But I mean, it's just so good from start to finish.
Thank
you. You're welcome. What, like, compared to the previous album, I mean, how is this process different on this time around on your second album?
Going into it, we went into it, trying to write a whole album. The first Any Port in a Storm was us just being scared out of our pants, like just going, oh my God, we're on a label, we have producers in the studio. It was so brand new to us that it was just, we were just concentrating on making each song a good song, and then that was it. And now we're more comfortable. We know how to write songs. We know how to, I just started singing when we just started doing Any Port in a Storm, we grew as musicians and as singers and as writers and as people, and we went through a lot of shit, and we played a lot of shows and played a lot of music, and that's just, so we felt more comfortable when this came around, and we knew what we wanted, we knew how to do it. So we wanted to write a whole album, and we wanted to have an underlying theme, and we wanted it to be very cohesive. So we went into it as doing a whole entire piece of art rather than song by song by song, which there's nothing wrong with that, and that's how we did Any Port in a Storm, and I love that album. But I'm just really proud of Cabin by the Sea, because we had a lot more of our hands in it than on the producing side, and the idea why and what we wanted to do, and we got to run with it, and the label was cool enough, and they kind of stepped aside, and we got to pick the producers that we wanted to come in and do what we wanted them to do, and get other people to come in. It was just a really fun project, and we're really proud of how it came out.
Yeah. Well, what was the biggest challenge? I mean, in the whole process for you guys on this album?
the scary thing to me is that there wasn't a lot of challenges. There's always like writer's block, and then there's always getting stuck on an idea, but I don't remember a lot of like hair pulling or like being very frustrated, and that's what scares me because I feel like the next album's going to be that way if this one was too easy.
Right.
It wasn't easy because I just think that there was such a long period of time between Any Port in a Storm and Cabin by the Sea. I think the biggest challenge was just getting to the point to where we could start writing. There were so many ups and downs with Any Port in a Storm, which is very fitting with the name. But there was such a long period of time that we had a lot of stuff ready to go. So when we finally, opened the floodgates of writing, there was a lot of ideas, and I think that helped a lot. There was some challenges on the mixing side towards the end, how we wanted it to sound sonically. There were some challenges there. So I guess there was, but not so much as the first album. The first album was like just pulling teeth.
Well, it's the end of the
On
first
some
time.
things, some songs you just throw up and there's one done, and then there's other songs that, excuse me, can take you a whole month or something.
Right.
And that happened, but just on a smaller scale on this album. I don't know. I just maybe because we're more comfortable, maybe we got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll find out the next time around. And
Oh, I don't even want to think about it.
Don't think about it. Just enjoy what you got right now. So
Thanks.
that's good. And then I know Modest Yahoo, Rome again on this one, Kaimani Marley.
Yeah.
What would be your dream collaboration for a future album with you guys? Who would you love to invite?
There's a couple people on the hip hop side. I'm so stoked that we got Del, one of my favorite rappers, and that's somebody that I kind of idolized through growing up. But there's this new kid, ASAP Rocky. He would be really cool to get on a track. I really like this singer. I can't remember his name, but the singer of this band, Beirut. I really like his voice, or like maybe a Brandon Boyd or Ben Harper to get on some choruses. And if we could get the remaining two Beastie Boys to do some stuff, that would be cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that we'd like to work with, but we kind of wait until we write the songs and then see. It's more so the songs choosing them than us.
Right.
Like we're not like, okay, we want to do a song with this guy, so let's write a song that would sound like something he would do. It's like we write songs and go,
that would be perfect
Kaimani
for-
Marley would sound exactly. Modest Yahoo would be. We wrote Dance All Night and it was almost 100% done. And I was like, I don't even want to get this verse. Like Modest would kill this verse, and we called him and he got on.
I didn't realize until I did some research that you guys had a bunch of songs on movies and in TV shows and video games. Are any of the new songs from the new album, are they going to be on any TV or films coming up that you know of?
Yeah, not that we know of, but we're in the works to do that right now. That is something that we're concentrating on now. We wanted to get the album out and let it get some legs and let it get some heat and see how it did, and then now hopefully we'll have some placements because I think it's really cool. I think it's a really good. I think it's a really good way for people that wouldn't necessarily find your music to find it within movies and just being a huge gaming nerd. Like I'll get in any video game. I don't care. I just want to do it because maybe I'll get a free game and I'll get to brag to my friends that I have another song in a video game. So.
And I love the Get Baked with the Dirty Heads. That I was telling her about it. It was hilarious. I love it.
We were nervous. We're not actors. We're terrible actors. If you watch it, you can see. And we liked the idea of it, and going into it, it was funny, and we liked them, and I think they're great. But now I'm glad that we did that because now I know we're gonna do more. And we want to do more. We're gonna get new guests, and we're gonna make it more weed oriented. I'm like. Going out and thinking of getting baked with the Dirty Heads, it's like you think it's going to be this big stoner cooking show, and there was a couple episodes like that, but I think we'll get more so into that, like what we really cook when we're stoned. Because we just found out that if you put honey and rooster sauce on your pepperoni pizza, it's the most amazing thing that you've ever had in your whole
What's
entire life.
rooster sauce? I don't.
Like sriracha, the hot, spicy sauce you get at like Asian restaurants or pho restaurants.
So that and honey on a pepperoni pizza.
Honey, yeah, honey and hot sauce. You take the hot sauce and you put it, with some honey on your plate, and then dip the pizza in it. It was
Pay
good.
attention, people.
It was good.
That's
I think you might have to be super stoned, but I haven't tried it not stoned, but it was really good.
Cool. Well, what is your favorite thing to cook? When you're at home.
I like seafood. I'm a big fan of seafood. Anything like mussels or clams. I got a couple good recipes for that. I like kind of doing homemade like sushi, Asian style food. I'm really into Asian cooking, Japanese, Chinese, anything like that. I'm really into.
Do you watch any of the cooking shows, like any of the Gordon Ramsay or Anthony Bourdain type shows? Anthony
Bourdain is Anthony Bourdain. I can watch him all day. I watch Iron Chef. and Bizarre Foods is a good one. But I mean, I could literally watch Anthony Bourdain. I watch reruns of him. You know, that guy's genius. And I actually saw an episode where he hung out with Queens of the Stone Age, and I was like, that would be such a genius idea to have Anthony Bourdain come on your bus and show him how we eat on the road. You know,
that would be. I tell you. Somebody
there's the
picked
pitch.
It up.
Yeah, right.
I saw the Instagram pic of the August calendar on your Facebook page, and I have questions.
I'm sure you do.
I'm like, but I narrowed it down to two.
Okay.
Two that really I was curious about. The first one being on 8/22, somebody wrote "devirginized."
That one's not as cool as you think. It was just the first time that we played that place.
Oh, okay.
It was the first time that we'd been to that. See, now you're like, oh, I thought there was going to be this terrible, awesome story about somebody. You know, no, nothing.
Well, okay.
It was just we popped. It was like Richmond or somewhere like we popped some city's cherry of us never.
But it turned out really well. Yeah, I saw
it.
If it was Richmond, that photo was insane.
I think we
really
had played
good.
Richmond before, so I know it wasn't there. I can't remember what it was, but the show was really good.
Yeah, because I guess it was last week. Yeah, so nice. And then my favorite one. That's the reason I saved this one as the second one. The 8th of this month. There's a drawing, and I think I know what it is, but I'm like, maybe it's not. It looks like something, and it's like it could be boobs, it could be balls.
It's balls.
It could be balls.
It's balls. It's big, sweaty balls.
That's what
It's balls because we played. Where's the rave, Stu? We played in Milwaukee. We played the rave, and the rave is known for being like the swampiest, sweatiest, no AC venue that you could possibly play at, especially in the summertime. And it stayed true to its name, and we all got off and drenched in sweat. So I drew some big sweaty balls because that's what that place is. It's just a big group of sweaty balls and vaginas.
How was the cruise? It looked like you guys had a blast. I mean,
I don't remember. I literally
It was
could
that
tell you.
good.
It was so good. I could tell you maybe 4 things that I actually remember. Like I'll still meet people like at meet and greets, or we'll go out after the bus and like sign things. We'll be like, "Dude, the cruise," and I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes," and they're like, "Well, remember then when we did this?" And I was like, "No, I don't fucking remember any of that." Like what time? 4 in the morning in the cafeteria. And I'm like, "Oh no." I mean, but it was really really good. It was one of the most memorable trips I've ever taken just as a vacation, and then it was one of the most memorable shows that we've ever had. We played on a private island, in the Bahamas, on a stage that the end of the stage was the water, so all the fans were in the water, and then behind us was a huge pirate ship.
oh wow.
And it's just like, you can't, like, how are we ever going to top that? How are we going to top that? And, it's just so cool that they invited us. 311's really helped us out from day one. I mean, I feel like those guys have helped out so many good bands. Those guys have brought so many good bands to people's attention and on the road, and they're just such great guys, and they deserve everything that they've had. And we just are really stoked that we got to go and experience it and hang out with the fans. And everybody was really cool. You know, you don't know how it's going to be being on a cruise ship with a bunch of fans. Because some fans are pretty crazy and other ones are really respectful, and some people aren't respectful at all. And everybody was super cool. It's like, I felt like everybody knew that we were there. We're all there for the same reason. We're going to be there for 5 days. It might not be the only time you're going to see us. And everybody just chilled and was really nice. And we had dinner with our fans, and we hung out and, played drinking games and started a food fight. I feel like I sound like a 12th grader.
No. It's fun.
It was really fun. It was a really really good time.
And would you go again if they invited you?
Hands down, I would go even if they didn't invite us and I just had that week off and I wasn't even going to play. I'd go. That's how much fun it is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, what are the plans after this tour wraps up? Because I think it finishes the end of September, right?
Yeah. We go right to the end of September. We have October off. We're going to decompress and just hang out, and maybe do a little bit of writing. I don't know. We'll figure it out once we get a little bit closer. And then we're going to South America next, hopefully to do some festivals. We're trying to get overseas and because this album actually is getting released internationally in September.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be, UK, Japan, Australia, South America, Europe. So we'll try and get over to everywhere else across the seas, and try and see what we can do. And hopefully we'll be able to do what we're doing now on a international level. That's our next goal. So that would be really cool.
Well, definitely good luck with that,
Thank
too.
you.
I know it should catch on pretty well. So
I hope so.
I think so. Lastly, I always ask, what message do you have for the Dirty Head fans?
Just stay positive and keep spreading love and keep coming to the shows and having a good time. That's all we really, want. Like, our fans have been so amazing, and we just want people to keep having a good time and coming to the shows and having a blast and getting away from anything you need to get away from, or if you just need to come and have a good time. And thanks. Just we appreciate everything.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, come with me to a place by the sea.